So rule number 1 is noted down. We have listed out everything that comes under rule number 1. Now we'll write what is the rule number 2. What are the words that will undergo some change? Now those words are here will change to there. We'll put it as 2A. To be, this will change to that. These will change to those. Then today will change to that day. Today or this day will change to that day. E would be yesterday will change to the previous day. Okay, here changes to there, this changes to that, these changes to those, today or this day changes to that day, yesterday changes to the previous day, tomorrow changes to the next day or the following day. So these are the changes that is going to occur when you are changing the speech from direct to indirect. Here to there, this to that, these to those, today or this day to that day, yesterday to the previous day, tomorrow to the next day or the following day. And ago changes to before. Fine. So this is the second rule that you have to bear in mind. So the first rule is, if the reporting verb is in the past tense, then the tense of the reported speech will change from simple present to simple past, present continuous to past continuous, present perfect to past perfect, present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous, past tense to past perfect. And rule number 2 is, here changes to there, today or this day changes to that day, this changes to that, these changes to those, yesterday changes to the previous day, tomorrow changes to the next day or the following day, and ago changes to before. Shall we move on to the next example, students? So the next example that we have is, she said, I may be late. Again, see the close inverted commas, kindly change it. She said, I may be late. Now, which is the reporting verb, students? Obviously, said. Said is the reporting verb. And what is the tense of the reporting verb? It is in the past tense. So, recall the first rule that I said. If the reporting verb is in the past tense, then the tense of the reported speech will change to simple past from simple present. I may be late. So she said that, I will change to she. She said that, why will I change to she? Because here it is very clearly given as she said. So therefore I will change to she. If it is he said, then I would change to he. Since it is she said, I will change to the word she. So it is she said that she would be late. Am I right? No. Why? Because the word may is given. You are supposed to change may to might. Will change to would. Okay. So she said that she might be late. Correct? So the indirect speech would be, she said that she, I will change to she. Why will I change to she? Because before the reporting verb you have the pronoun she. Therefore, I will change to she. She said that she might be late. Full stop. Because we are not going to make use of any punctuation marks other than a full stop in the reported or the indirect speech. Because in the direct speech, you have open inverted commas, close inverted commas, and other punctuation marks could be a question mark or an exclamatory mark. All that is allowed only in the direct speech. So in the indirect speech, you are supposed to use only a full stop and not use open inverted commas or close inverted commas or exclamatory mark or question mark. So she said that she might be late. Let's move on to the next example. The next example that we have in the direct speech is, my mother said, you must study harder. I repeat, my mother said, you must study harder. And please, we have already learnt that the sentence must begin with a capital letter. There is a small letter here. Change the small u to capital U. So, my mother said, you must study harder. My mother said that you must study harder. So, how are you going to change this? Said is the reporting verb. I will just write it as RV. R standing for reporting and V standing for verb. So, said is the reporting verb. What is the tense of the word said? It is in the past tense. So, rule number 1 is going to be applied here. You must study harder. So, my mother said that I must study harder, or you could say my mother said that I should study harder, or you should study harder, or he should study harder, or she should study harder. So, we'll put it as my mother said that I should study harder. Now, let's take I as the appropriate one. The reason is this particular speaker is speaking about his or her own mother. So, we'll change the you to I. My mother said that I must study harder. Okay. My mother said that I must study harder, or you can even change must to I should study harder. Okay, my mother said that I must study harder. My mother said that I should study harder. Why that you has changed to I? Because let us assume that the speaker is referring to himself or herself. And therefore, I have changed you to I. That you could also mean someone else. And if you are talking about someone else, then you could change to he or she. But let us assume that the mother is speaking about her own daughter or her own son. And so, let us change you to I. So, my mother said that I must study harder, or my mother said that I should study harder. Okay, shall we move on to the next example? Probably it must be the fourth or the third example, students. John said she has been to London. Again, the close inverted commas is not printed properly. Kindly make a note of that and change it accordingly. John said she has been to London. Which is the reporting verb? The reporting verb is said. What is the tense of the reporting verb? It is in the past tense. Rule number 1 should be applied. Now, let us go to the sentence which is given in the direct speech, students. It is said, she has been to London. That is the sentence that is there within the inverted commas, which means it is the sentence in the direct speech. Now, we have to worry about the tense. Why? Because we need to make the necessary changes where the tense is concerned, since reporting verb is in the past tense. Let's first write down said is the reporting verb. I have just written it as RV. R standing for reporting and V standing for verb. So this is in the past tense. Now go to the tense that is there within the inverted commas. She has been to London. See, has is given here. That means it is present perfect. So if the reporting verb is in the past tense, then if the sentence given to us is in the present perfect, it has got to change to past perfect. Which is the only word that indicates past perfect? Had. So has will therefore change to had. So John said that she had been to London. That is all. John said that. After the word said, it is better you use the word that. Even without using the word that, it is fine. But I prefer students using the word that after the word said. John said that she had been to London. Why has changes to had? Because present perfect changes to past perfect. So, and no punctuation marks to be used in the reported speech except for a full stop. John said that she had been to London. John said that she had been to London. Said is the reporting verb which is in the past tense. Has is present perfect. So present perfect changes to past perfect and this is the past perfect. Yes. Have you made a note of all the students? The next sentence, we have two sentences in this sheet of paper. So we've got to discuss both of them before we move on to the next sheet. He said, the girl will work hard tomorrow. He said, the girl will work hard tomorrow. Now, said is the reporting verb. The reporting verb is in the past tense. So, will should change to would. And if you remember, you have already listed out tomorrow is going to change to the next day or the following day. So, the answer would therefore be, he said that the girl would work hard the next day or the following day. He said that the girl would work hard the next day or the following day. Under rule number 2, you have listed out so many words which undergo change. Here changes to there, this changes to that, these changes to those, yesterday changes to the previous day, today or this day changes to that day, tomorrow changes to the next day. Haven't you listed all of them under rule number 2? So, will change to would and tomorrow would change to the next day. So, he said that the girl would work hard the next day or the following day. We'll move on to the next example that is there on the same sheet of paper, students. He said the girl will be happy. He said the girl will be happy. Now, said is again the reporting verb and it is in the past tense. Now, will change to would. Okay. So, he said the girl will be happy. He said that the girl would be happy. Simple, isn't it? He said that the girl would be happy. So we have discussed a few sentences where the reporting verb is in the past tense. So what are all the changes that have to be done when you are changing from direct to indirect? A few rules you have jotted it down, right? So the next example that we have here with us is, he said the girl was working hard. He said the girl was working hard. So said is the reporting verb and it is in the past tense. Now, what is the tense of the sentence given to us? You have the auxiliary verb and you also have the main verb, right? Auxiliary verb is was and working is the main verb and it has the ing added to it. So, if there is ing added to the verb, it means it is in the continuous tense. Okay? So, since the reporting verb is in the past tense and was is the auxiliary verb, we have discussed plenty of times regarding the auxiliary verb when we were having a discussion related to active and passive voice, and I'm sure you have listed out all those auxiliary verbs that I have mentioned to you in my previous class. Now, was is the auxiliary verb, right? And this is in the past tense. So far, the sentences that we have discussed, the tense of the sentence within the inverted commas has been present tense or present perfect. Here we have come across a sentence where the tense that is given within the inverted commas is already in the past tense. Now, if you go back to the rules that you have jotted down, students, the very first rule, the past tense will also change to past perfect. So, was is an auxiliary verb which indicates past tense. So, that also will change to past perfect. And what is that word which indicates past perfect? It is had. So, the whole thing changes to, he said that the girl had been working hard. Was changes to had. So, when you make use of had, you need to have the word B-E-E-N. So, how are you going to write it down now from the direct to the indirect? He said that, I said you can include the word that or you could delete it. But it is always better to have the word that immediately after the word said. Even if you omit the word, it's not a problem. But I prefer if the word that is written immediately after the word said. He said that the girl, now was indicates past tense and it is the auxiliary verb. So past tense also should change to past perfect. Which is that past perfect, the only word? It is had. So he said that the girl had been working hard. So, had is the past perfect. He said that the girl had been working hard. Let's continue our discussion regarding direct and indirect speech in the next class. Thank you.